Hello everyone, welcome back to Symphony of the Night. Here we are with part number 4 of this great series. Oh man, love this game so much. So much fun. Okay, here we go. So diving on in, there we are with our fourth part. So last time we did a little tiny bit of a glitch-ish kind of thing in order to go ahead and get the like a life upgrade here. So we're at 92 and all. And now we are going to be traveling back through this area, seeing if we can get another level up as we head towards, the clock tower and hopefully to reach the outer walls today. So we'll see what we can do there. Okay, once again, this guy is just totally terrible, from the front. So you have to kill him from behind. But that was easy enough to do with enough practice. I think once you get used to Alucard's fists, a lot of this game gets a lot easier. I mean, we're going to be using the jeweled knuckles for almost the entire game, just because like they're one of the best weapons. Just end of story. Now, it's not like I don't like some of the other weapons we're going to get, like the Holy Rod is going to be so useful. Just FYI, that's going to be the case. So we're going to be using that quite a bit. We might even get it as soon as we get the Leap Stone. I'm not sure what I want to do on that front. I think probably that's what I'll do. So, anyway. Grab ourselves a boomerang here. Ow! My face! See, knockback in this game can be pretty terrible. I mean, look at that. Like, look how far back we ended up going because of this stupid knockback. Knockback. That is such an archaic design, and I'm glad that that's gone and, modern stuff mostly. Punch, punch, punch. And that guy's gone. So you'll notice this game really starts to get pretty easy pretty fast once you start leveling up and once you start figuring out what you're doing. I can say that I initially didn't really like this game. I'd heard such great things about it being a Metroidvania game, and then I picked it up like about 8 years ago or so, and I couldn't get into it. I was just dying immediately. I had no idea where to go and what to do. The walkthroughs I found on YouTube were not that fun or useful for it. I was just not having a good time. So I put this game down till I really tried it again this year, and a lot of it changed for me, honestly, because I think that that's just, it was once I started figuring out what I could actually do to, properly buffer my defense. Because that's the thing, I was dying all the time because my defense was at level 1. And I didn't know how to put on a cape and how to equip it right. But once I figured out how to equip these things, the game challenge began to become fair, and I watched a walkthrough or two on it. I really knew what I was doing, and it was a lot of fun to explore a lot on my own and figure out what to do. That was until I got up to the inverse castle, at which point, I just kind of was really miffed about it. It was like maybe if I had more level ups going in here, it would be fun. But guess what? It wasn't, because the inverse castle, I think, is just I guess the proper term for it is the inverted castle. Still, I think it kind of just sucks. That's my opinion on it. I think it just is a sucky design choice, and so I don't know why they made that choice. I don't think it was a good choice to make, but it is what they did, so, whatever. Anywho, but yeah, I think this game's really fun now that, I've gotten into it. But I think that if you don't know what you're doing with it, it's not necessarily going to be fun. I mean, I'm not really an RPG person, like, at all. I can't think of any RPG I've ever played and really enjoyed. It's just not my cup of tea normally. I think that if it's like a 2D game like this, I can totally get into it. But a bunch of other games, not so much. The classic RPG, not really.
You seem human, and
Hey
yet,
Maria,
what
what's up?
do you here?
I've come to
Yeah.
destroy this castle.
So voice
Then
acting
we
here,
have
I
the
feel
same
like this is
purpose.
some good voice
I'll
acting.
trust you for now.
I like
I'm
this
Maria.
version, even
And
though the
you?
enthusiasm may be, lacking.
Alucard.
But
An
honestly, Alucard does such
attractive
a great
type, I
job,
can
and I
see.
like Maria being
Well,
voiced by like
perhaps
somebody
we'll
who's
meet
like
again,
30 or something.
if you live that
I
long.
just like that style of
Farewell.
it. Maybe that's just because I've gotten used to it. I just feel like future versions are just not as good because they need to keep that original cast. I think these were this was some good voice acting. You also notice that the time on the clock is actually going to represent our game time as well. If you want to see what time of day it is, it's also on our screen here. So we're 34 minutes into the game, etc. Timing isn't super important. It's a little bit important, but not super important, is what I would say about it. Um, We're actually not going to grab the stopwatch coming up here, out of surprise. I mean, that's what most people would do to make the doppelganger boss a non-issue, but I kind of like keeping the holy water. That's kind of my thing for this game. I like keeping the holy water, period. You know, I think that it's the best stuff. Ow, my face. Yeah, but you notice as your defense really rises, these enemies become like a complete non-issue. Just, you know, forward, backward, and sideways. These guys all start doing like 1 damage in the future. So, yeah. Here, though, we have the stopwatch, which costs the most hearts to use, but it's very useful because it pauses time. It acts like, you know, stop time does in Dishonored, for example. Dishonored. Now, there's a good game. I should do a commentary walkthrough of Dishonored at some point soon. Probably should. Anyway, the backdash here, always useful. I mean, it can look a little goofy at times, but still. You also notice one reason I really like the holy water is that it instant kills, like, you know, so many enemies. Like these guys. Just go down and, like, 1 holy water hit. Watch that out. Bam. And they look like such tough enemies, but really, with the holy water, a lot of things are not easy, or not, like, hard at all. Not easy. No, not hard, okay? Watch that. See, we also leveled up here, so that's going to be useful. Leveling up is more useful than simply the good old-fashioned, like, health up, you know, grades, because health upgrades are nice and all, but the level up system gives us a buffer on, like, everything, so that's pretty great. These guys also petrify you if they hit you, as I'm sure they will at some point here. There's actually a unique little Easter egg where you can turn into what looks like kind of like a demon, and that's pretty cool to look at, just FYI. So, yeah. Anyway, the leveling up really does everything, so that's what makes it so useful, you know? I punch you in face. The punch is going to get even more powerful coming up here, and it's already super nice, isn't it? You know? Okay. Stop throwing your seeds at me. I kill you. Haha. Dead. So we're not exactly approaching, you know, this place in the best condition of all time, but, you know, we'll work with what we can work with. Also, don't steal my holy water for some stupid axe sub-weapon. I feel like you should be able to carry all the sub-weapons at once, but that might make the game even easier than it already is. But I don't think that this game is, you know, impossibly easy. I'm just saying I think that it can be, you know, pretty easy. At times. Now, other times it can be, you know, super difficult. But, once we need to teleport over here so we can properly deal with this guy with Hellfire. Because if you try to deal with him with other methods, it just doesn't work super well. He is a pretty advanced enemy for what we are dealing with currently. Also, these Medusa heads are super annoying, so, you know. Oh, man. 20 hit. No. Okay, I need to get up enough magic for Hellfire again. Okay, Hellfire again. Let's see if that takes him out this time. It did. Yay. This guy is also one of those rare enemies who doesn't end up respawning, so that's pretty sweet. Okay, so what are we doing here? Well, we're going to get this food. But you'll notice if you stand right here, and you stand still, okay? You stand here for about 15 seconds, 20 seconds, there's a little elevator that'll take you down. So you don't have to hold down or anything, just stand straight up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, it was about 20 seconds, I think, ish. So we have the jeweled knuckles now. Let's quickly equip those here. So in our empty hand, instead of just punching stuff, we're going to be using jeweled knuckles there. And you'll notice this here. This is the mirrored cuirass. So this thing will equip this here instead of this one, I believe. I believe this happens to stop petrification. So anyway, we don't get petrified anymore, and it also is going to increase our defense by another point. So that's pretty useful. Now, you normally would need the mist transformation that you get from the Coliseum to get that, but because of that hidden, like, elevator, you can get it right now. Ugh. See how annoying these guys are? Freaking God. We need to not get hit too many times because our health's pretty low at this point. So, anyway, we're going to get to a save point in not too long. Anyway, come down here. You can get some hearts. This is also a good spot to farm money. And we're going to need the iron shield coming up here. And we only have about 2,000 bucks in gold. So we need a little bit more than that in order to get the iron shield. So just FYI about that. You can also go over here and press up, and you'll zoom in on Shaft or somebody paddling across the lake. I don't know who that is, you know. Anyway, we're going to need a health restore, so I'm just going to use one of our health items right now. And the way I like to do that is to equip it, and we'll just pull out some pot roast here. So then you press the button, and then we're going to catch it. Whee! Okay, so we have 50 health restored, and then we can go back to equipping our jeweled knuckles. The jeweled knuckles are unbelievably powerful. As you can see, the attack damage at 27 is ridiculously good. This is also why leveling up is so powerful in this game, because you can level up super easily and it all is great. Anyway, this is one of my favorite farm spots for money, and the reason for that is because it's simple, there are no enemies here, and it's just grabbing 50 bucks, you know? So we can do this about like 40 times to make, you know, 2 grand, which is what we're going to need if we want the iron shield coming up immediately. Now, we don't actually have to do this time, so I'm just going to grab like 500 bucks here. But the reason to do this is we're going to need some of these kind of upgrades. We really need the iron shield for when we actually go to the Coliseum, and we're going to have a little bit more time before we're going to do that, because we're not going to just abuse the wolf to get there a little bit early, but we're going to get the leap stone first. So anyway, is what it is, right? We might also fully explore the catacombs a little bit first, which could be a little bit interesting. So I don't know what I want to do in that direction first, but anyway, this is a great farm spot for money. It is not my favorite because later in the game, once we get the bat transformation, there's a great farm spot for 400, and we may be simply using that to get Joseph's cloak or something like that. We may, you know, do that like 100 times to get 40 grand, you know, and that's just, it's just one of those places where it's super awesome to be able to pull that off. And I think that that's just great when it comes to farming for money. Let's see how we're doing on money after we punch it one more time. Okay, where are we at? So we're at 2,800. That's okay. So if we need more money, we can come back here and farm it later. Diamond is it. So yeah, as I was saying, leveling up just makes this game really pretty easy, because once you start to level up, it starts to make the game just like super easy. You know, you're able to go through the game with such high defense and such high levels of like your magic, etc. Because leveling up increases everything, basically. You know. Anywho, once we have the leap stone, that'll be useful. There's the garnet up there, so that'll come in handy. But let's go see the doppelganger. Okay. We might actually beat him at this part. I feel like just going a few extra minutes. Okay, see how powerful the jeweled knuckles are? They take your normal punch attack, and they just upgrade it, you know, through the roof. So we'll grab a quick save here, but then we're going to take on Doppelganger. So Doppelganger is, you know, Alucard, basically, except he's, you know, he's got a few transformations we don't have, and his health's a little bit lower, etc. So we have our holy water, though. If you have the stopwatch, you've already won this boss battle, but I feel like that's a little too cheap, you know. We can instead, though, use the holy water and the jeweled knuckles mostly, which are going to, you know, give us victory on this one. So so he throws his daggers like that, and you'll notice that the holy water is pretty powerful towards fighting him off. But so are the jeweled knuckles, because we're doing 27 per, you know, hit easily, and so he's only doing a little damage. We're doing quite a bit of damage, and there he goes. So even without the stopwatch trick, which absolutely disintegrates this boss, that trick is super easy. Just a little holy water and the jeweled knuckles, because the jeweled knuckles are just awesome. So, you know, that's one thing to notice. Okay, now we have the Gladius. We're going to replace our short sword with that. We'll be using the Holy Rod for most of this game, until we get to the inverted castle, at least. Okay, ow, man. Ugh, too bad I fell there. Anyway, if you fall there, though, you can farm up these guys a little bit, so that's, you know, that's not bad. Yeah, so we leveled up again there. Yeah, so as you can notice, like, leveling up just does insanely well for you. You know, you get so much more health, you have more on the attack side. I mean, like, look at what we're up to with some of these things. It's just insane with what you can get for leveling up. Anyway, so we have to do this little trick, though, here if we want this life caps a little bit early. So, man. What is with me in the messing these up? Because I got this, like, first try last time I was doing this. Like a test playthrough, you know? Anyway, those enemies are pretty easy now, so it's pretty simple and straightforward. Leveling up, I'm not the biggest expert on exactly what stats it always changes. Just seems to increase a lot of your stats consistently as compared to life ups and hard ups that only, you know, increase those specific features. So, anyway, that jump's not too hard, but once you make it over here, you can punch this, and your max life will go up. So that's nice. That's a pretty easy one to get when it comes to it, compared to the difficulty of the one I showed off earlier in this walkthrough. So let's go up the outer wall a little bit here. So we're at the outer wall of the castle. You know, if you want to see the map screen, this is where we are. It's pretty far, you know, there. And we're also about to unlock our first warp room coming up. So that's the library. We're going to be coming back to the library here in just a minute. Not quite yet, but just a minute. So we can punch that skeleton to death here. This guy is annoying, you know, because he's all stabby stab. And we want to get up close and personal, though, in order to hit him with Jeweled Knuckles, because Jeweled Knuckles, number one. Oh, my face. That guy with his stupid axe throwing thingy. Oh. Yeah, some of these guys can be challenging if you don't have the right equipment, but if you have the right equipment, no trouble at all. Also, you can punch things in midair, which is super useful. These guys have guns, though, you know, just FYI, so watch out for those guns. But you'll notice that this game's getting a lot easier the more we get into it. So here's our first warp room we're going to try out. And it's automatically linked up to one other warp room, unlike the ones in the inverted castle that just don't link up like that. They still work the same, but once you unlock the first one, you have to unlock the second one to beam over. But this one, we already have one place we can beam over to, which is here. So we're going to lower this gate, and this means that we can get back to this area pretty easily. And all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's nice. And after we've done that, we can warp on back. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get to the top and get the save room up here. That's what we really want. So next thing, though, we're going to need to pull off a little bit of a trick with the yellow Medusa heads. So we're immune to petrification, but actually it'll only be those Medusa heads. There we go. As I said, my trick for doing this is spin the stick like 3 times, you know? I find that works pretty well. If you spin your control stick 3 times around and then press X, that's what I use for Hellfire. It works pretty consistently. I don't know how to do the exact button input in time, basically. So that's what it's kind of about. Anyway, here we go. So, ow. These guys do a lot of damage, if you noticed. 7 damage is still just like a lot. So this trick is a little hard to do without the Medusa heads helping you out. But what you want to do is simply do this, you know. Oh, man. Okay, so one of them got me over there, and the other one wrecked it for me. Okay, we're going to refill our health and try this again. So if you get a little, you know, low on health, as it happened to me here, then there's a save room up here. So we're going to grab a save, but I want to grab this. I think this is just a hearts up, but I want to grab it before anything else. Yeah, so while I'm still in the mood to do it, we're going to be using the knockback of the Medusa heads to our advantage, basically, to get over here. So notice how we have these two flying along. Okay. So anyway, hearts are now maxed up officially, and yeah, that's all working, right? Punch in the face. Medusa heads just suck, though, because they're so damaging in this game. It can be a little bit ridiculous. But maybe that's just me, in my opinion, on it. Anyway, so we're going to refill our health here and call it a good part on this one. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with the next video. Stay tuned. I'll see you then.